Let's go on our farm tour of the week.
We're kind of concerned because we were running a full month ahead on bud development this season because it's been such a warm winter. And last night, predictably, it went back to kind of normal for March, and we had a maybe 10-degree night. It's a little unclear. The thermometer read 6, but I think it's reading a little low. These peach trees here. If you can see oh, this would be a good one to look at here. The flower buds are the buds on either side. The middle bud is the vegetative bud. Those will be fine. But see, these are quite swollen, and you can see green there on the side. So according to the charts, they might not have survived. It's been below freezing all day. It's still below freezing, so there's no way to really know until a few days from now when it warms up. And after they've been warm for a day, you can cut them open and see if they're brown and dead or alive.
We had a question about composting and closed loop systems on our farm. Composting, I love composting. And I wish we did more composting, and maybe that'll be something we do more of in the future. Right now our compost pile is just a gigantic pile, and I turn it with a tractor occasionally. But another thing we do is we do a lot of cover cropping. So essentially when we're doing that, we're composting in place. So this is a field of about a 1/4 acre of rye, and we have another patch down below of rye too. Like what happens usually with rye is if you plant it too late, it doesn't get established very well. What we do with our cover crop blocks is we're essentially growing biomass, and then we flail mow it down in place. And for garlic, so this is our garlic patch that just came up. It's probably hard to see in the video, but with the garlic, we like to do a full season of cover cropping, and we do peas and oats cover crop. And what we do is we plant the cover crop, and then we actually let the cover crop go to seed. And then once the seeds are mature, we flail mow it down and rototill it and use those seeds that we've grown to produce a second cover crop for the same year in place. And then ideally you flail mow that next round of cover crop down before it produces viable seeds, and then you wait for a few weeks to let it compost, till it in a couple times, and then plant the garlic. So this is the rye that we planted earlier on in September. It's a lot more thrifty. It's got a more dense vegetation. Looks very good. We've talked about growing our own straw. We're not there yet. Our farm is on a hill, so it's not the easiest to do things like harvest straw, but we might. You never know. Well, one thing this week we got was our neighbor brought us this gigantic pile of sawdust. Scott's going to use that for his nursery propagating.
Yeah, I'm going to use it on stool beds. I've been using kind of half-rotted wood chips, and I think this is going to work much better. And I'm excited. It's a huge pile.
It's a gigantic pile.
We've been in the greenhouse a lot this week, potting things up, getting things ready for the plant sale this spring. So a question about the media I'm using for hardwood cuttings. The better it drains, the better. There's always a danger of things being too wet for me and rotting. Things can actually be quite dry and still root. So I like to use 50% perlite and 50% peat moss, and definitely not overwater it. I pick up the whole crate to judge how much water's in it. I just actually gave these a little bit of liquid fertilizer because they're starting to grow leaves and they don't have really much roots yet. So that just helps them through this period. And I'm going to let them not water at all for like probably 3 days. All kinds of fun trees here. I've got edible pine nuts, a couple different species. These are pear rootstocks, prunus rootstocks. These are shipmast black locust selected for straight growth from Hungary. Pawpaw and persimmon seedlings, which are not germinated yet. It's been 5 weeks. It takes about 6 weeks. They're starting. The pawpaws actually do this fun thing where they germinate and grow a root for about 3 weeks before they break the soil. And they're all in that stage underneath the ground, but they haven't sent up a shoot yet. Aren't they cute? Those are the Kentucky coffee tree.
Oh yeah, what do we have here?
So yesterday I just finished potting up our apples, our grafted apples that we'll have for sale this spring. There's about 20 different varieties. They're all full dwarf on Bud 9 rootstock. They're great looking trees this year. Despite it being a bad year for fruit, we grew great nursery trees. These were all budded in September of 22. The figs are waking up. They're breaking bud. All this here are trees I've grafted this winter on the hot callousing pipe, which worked really, really well. And now they're all starting to, buds are starting to break. These are mulberries right here. I've got really exciting varieties. This is Black Prince. Putting on really good growth already. These are this year's fig trees. A bunch of these are listed on the website. If you order a tree, this is what you're going to get. They're going to probably, each of these has the potential to grow to about 4 feet high this year.